Welcome back to Movie Guys Improvise, the MGI podcast. You were listening to the voices of
Chill with Realms.
Jurassic Mark.
and Faerhad Targaryen. Last month's episode was Big Trouble, movie from 2002. Surprisingly, pretty entertaining. So if you haven't seen that movie, definitely check it out. It was free on YouTube for a little while. You might have to rent it. It could be on another streaming service. I am not sure. But go ahead and check it out. Then check our review of it. That was a fun review, I think. Today's episode is the October episode, which I guess we can also kind of consider the Halloween episode, although this is not a Halloween movie, even though there was kind of a Halloween scene. This is 2018's Love, Simon. Based on the book, Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Hope I'm not butchering your last name. So this is my all-time favorite movie for a number of different reasons. And part of it is the cast and part of it is the premise of the movie itself. This was my choice, so I'll go ahead and explain what this is. It's based on a book. It's a coming of age and coming out teen comedy drama. I think it had elements of both a comedy and a drama in it. And it stars Nick Robinson as Simon Spear, who is a closeted gay teenager, and he seems it's not, I guess to the people around him it's not totally obvious. And on this world's version of Tumblr, he comes across another high school student who goes to his school, who makes this Tumblr post alluding to the fact that he's also gay with a pen pal or an anonymous name. I don't know what the word is, like a code name. There's a specific word for Blue. This person that we learn about throughout the movie is Blue. So he creates an alter ego or an alias. Yeah, maybe that's the word I was searching for. He creates an alias and then they become pen pals. And eventually through these emails, they fall in love. However, in the midst of all this, another student at the school who goes by the name of Martin Addison, who has a crush on one of Simon's best friends, blackmails him because he sees the emails and takes screenshots of them as proof. And that's basically the premise of the movie, is that Simon is forced to help Martin, otherwise he would leak his emails. So that's the whole thing. Nick Robinson as Simon Spear. I recognized him the most from Jurassic World. Honestly, I think that's the first movie that comes to mind. And I didn't like him in that movie. That's a story. It's not about the actor, it's about the character, but that's a story in of itself. I'm just saying that's where I recognized him the most. Josh Duhamel, don't know if I'm saying that name right, plays Jack Spear, the father. Jennifer Garner as Emily Spear. Catherine Langford as Leah Burke, Simon's best friend, like his bestie. Now, she's another reason why I really wanted to watch this movie. And I alluded to this at the end of the Big Trouble episode, is because she played Hannah Baker in the Netflix series 13 Reasons Why. And again, that series, just the first season, is very, very important to me. Alexandra Shipp plays Abby Russo, the best friend that Martin has a crush on. I remember her as Storm in one of the latest X-Men movies, or one of the later X-Men movies. I didn't like that movie, X-Men Apocalypse, but I just remember she was Storm in it. And Jorge Lendeborg Jr., I hope I'm saying that name right, as Nick Eisner, another one of the best friend characters. And I remember him from Spider-Man Far From Home. If you guys keep up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he was part of the Thanos snap, and he was gone for 5 years, and he comes back and he mentions how his younger brother is older than him, which was just, it's kind of funny. But yeah, that's the premise of the movie. I'm not sure if either of you gentlemen have seen it before or if you read the book, but what were y'all's first impressions?
Thought it was pleasant on the whole. It's one critic described it as a crowd pleaser, and I'd have to say I agree with that. It's a teen romantic comedy, and it's like a lot of teen romantic comedies. There's a happy ending, there's an upbeat beginning, and there's a little bit of gratuitous moping in the middle, but that's to be expected. I will say, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast. I have this thing where if a character in a movie or a TV show is about to do something embarrassing, I cringe to the point where I have to hit the pause button. So watching this movie took me like 3 damn hours. I kept pausing the damn thing. Oh my God, because somebody was about to just do something really stupid. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. Like, I don't get embarrassed that easily in real life, but for some reason, when it comes to movies, like, I can't watch some episode of the Office, period. It's just like, no way. They're just too cringy. So if you're sensitive to like cringy movie moments, you might want to hit the fast forward button a couple of times. But overall, I enjoyed this movie.
Okay, so this movie is contemporary and it came out in 2018, which means that it either takes place in 2017 or 18. But full spoiler warning, we're not holding back on spoilers on this podcast. Mark, I'm gonna guess and say you're referring to Martin at the football game who
That was a big one.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't the only one, but that was a big one.
Okay,
like I paused there and I went to go make lunch, and then I came back about 20 minutes later and resumed the scene. It's like, okay. The minute he grabs the microphone, I'm like, yep, okay, I need a break. What's happening?
I still don't understand why he even thought that it was a good idea to listen to advice from somebody who's irritated with them right now.
Yeah. I mean, picking up on social cues doesn't seem to be Martin's thing. And also, like, that's something that often works in romantic comedies. So maybe the character had been watching some of those movies and figured, hey, if it worked in Love Actually, it'll work for me, or something like that. Yeah. That was also a realistic bear costume. Like, that's going to scare small children.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like I automatically knew it was him before he even did anything. I was just like, yo, this is some stupid shit he would do, though.
I think even Simon figured it out right away. Like, this kid again.
Yep.
Oh, man. Also, I felt old because high school marching bands are apparently playing Lady Gaga songs according to this movie. I'm like, oh, geez. Like, when I was in high school, like, that was considered too controversial for a lot of, like, high school marching bands. But in this one, they're playing, like, Poker Face. I'm like, man, I got old. Shit.
What is he saying? Claw, claw, claw.
Yeah. Something like that.
Oh, well. On the spot now.
Well, your initial impression.
Sorry. Yeah.
You hadn't seen the movie before. You hadn't read the book, right? So this was like a fresh thing for you. Like, have you heard of the movie beforehand, or this was like completely something new for you?
I never even heard of it until you brought it up. So this was the very second movie that I've ever seen. Like, The Best Friend. I think Catherine Langford.
Yes. Yes.
This is the second project I've ever actually seen her in, and that was pretty cool to see her doing something different. And they also had the character, the guy who played Alex Standall in 13 Reasons. So
yes.
that was the cool surprise seeing him in there too.
Yes.
So
yes.
It was a pretty feel good movie. So like throughout it, and I just enjoyed seeing like all the different familiar faces. So for me, I'd say I felt good going into it.
Yeah. Keywords felt good because, as I said, this is my favorite movie. And that's really why I love it so much, is that it's like a feel-good movie. Yes, there's drama. Yes, there's some serious, like kind of dangerous things that people do in this movie. And they don't really have consequences. Like, I have issues with the movie. I'm not saying that it's perfect, but I love it nonetheless. So I'm gonna grade it pretty damn high for that. So I read 13 Reasons Why, the book. Realms, was that where you saw Catherine Langford last as like the best friend character, or did you mean in something else?
That's the first and only time I've ever seen her until this movie.
Got it. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying at the end of the Big Trouble episode, because that series was so important to me, I went and read the book just to see how the original story went. And I will probably end up buying the book version of this to see how it went as well, because from what I understand, it is quite different. The ending is kind of the same, but there are, differences here and there. So JM, one thing that you were mentioning was how cringy the things Martin did was. Okay, so this was what I guess I forgot what I was asking you. So what was the cringiest thing? If it wasn't the football scene, with the anthem, what was the cringiest thing that you had to watch?
Oh no, that was the cringiest
That
part
was.
for me. But also, I think even like at the Halloween party where Simon is like, I think when he like goes into the bedroom and he sees the guy like making out with this girl, I thought, oh Jesus, hang on, pause. It's like stuff like that. Just I don't know why, horror movies don't bother me. I can handle like gory, violent scenes, just characters embarrassing themselves. Like just makes me tense up a little bit.
Yeah, that scene at the Halloween party was definitely meant to throw everybody off. Like everybody who was
Yeah, it was a
expecting.
bit of a shocker.
Yeah.
Turned
Didn't
out
get
to be a
me.
red herring though, because I mean, spoiler alert, that was the guy all along. That was Blue.
Wait, Realms, you're saying it didn't fool you? You still hung
Hell
on?
no, hell no. All right, so look, when he first was thinking that that was Blue, for everybody who's listening, Blue is the person that basically his pen pal that has a similar situation to him. And when he starts thinking that this guy is Blue, at first I'm like, because he thinks it's him, it's not him. Then when he ran into him upstairs and he saw him with the girl, that's when I was like, they trying to throw us off. I think it's him now.
Wow, you were ahead of the curve.
But they did fuck me up because then they threw what's his name? He's the other person I'm talking about that's from 13 Reasons that
The
played
Alex Standall character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they threw him in it, then I was like, yo, it's gotta be him. I was like, yo, he's coming out again in this series.
Oh man, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, so before I watched the movie, I read like the top of the Wikipedia blurb, and it says it's about centers on Simon Spear, a closeted gay high school boy who struggles to balance his friends, his family, and the blackmailer threatening to out him to the entire school while simultaneously attempting to discover the identity of an anonymous classmate with whom he has fallen in love online. When I read that, initially I assumed it was the guy posting online who was going to blackmail him in this movie. And like going in, I was kind of expecting this to be like some sort of phishing scheme. But no, the actual plot's a lot better, than what I was expecting. So
Yeah, the way they described it, they make the blackmailer seem more serious, and then then you're like, oh, this is the guy.
yeah.
He's basically like the comic relief.
Yeah, no, and it preserves the mystery, because if it had been the same dude, well, the mystery probably wouldn't have been as engaging.
Nah.
Yeah.
Well, Logan Miller plays Martin Addison, the antagonist of the movie. And Realms, you mentioned how I don't know why, like you were saying, I don't know why he would take advice with someone who's irritated by him. And JM, you've said numerous times about how he does the cringy shit in the movie on purpose. So what I will say is this: Logan Miller, the actor who portrays Martin, did a good job making me hate him.
Yeah.
I will say that about him because he was a twerp. He was an absolute twerp who doesn't understand responsibility, and I fucking hated him, which I'm meant to do. So
yeah, he did his job.
Yeah, very, very effectively, might I say. So,
to be honest, I didn't think he would actually go through with revealing the secret. I thought he was just using it as leverage because, like, okay, you don't know whether I will or I won't do it. But I thought when he said my brother's gay, I thought he'd be able to sympathize and not actually really out him.
I think he was lying. I think he was lying about that because that's kind of a throwaway line in the dialogue, right? There's no further development about Martin's family, even though there is a scene where they go to his house, into his room, right? So I think he was just saying that shit just to grab Simon's attention, okay? And
maybe.
Yeah. While we're on the topic of Martin, like I was going to talk to you guys about this eventually, but him being the antagonist of the film, and when I was talking about why I chose this film and stuff about it, he's what I meant when I said some dangerous things happen here, because what he did was beyond just bullying. I mean, there is a scene with bullying. Remember, like after he is outed and there's that cafeteria scene of those two bullies who are dancing on the table, making fun of both Simon, but another gay character at the school.
Ethan, I think his name was.
Ethan, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's that teacher, I think Miss Albright, who
Mhm.
takes them down like a boss, right?
Yeah.
So that was supposed to be seen as like, the bullies, the homophobia in this culture. But to me, Martin was just as guilty of that, because you remember that night, the anonymous email that he outed him in, he said something really mean. He said something like, oh yeah, we shouldn't be talking about, what happened at homecoming. We should be talking about the fact that Simon Spear is gay. Other gay students like call him for butt sex. Ladies need not apply. For you to say something like that, you're making fun of this guy. You're not just trying to expose his secrets. You're making fun of him. Okay, so he does that. Like he outs Simon. He does it in a really mean way. Like he says that in the email. And then later he tries to make this half-assed apology about something Simon probably already knew. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know people were still like that, but I just wanted everybody to focus on something else because all people were talking about was homecoming. Like, God damn, man. Ultimately, my point that I'm trying to make to you guys is he didn't face enough consequences for what he did. I would have at least liked Simon to, well, no, it would have been out of character for Simon to punch him in the face in the school parking lot, right? That would have been kind of out of character. It looked like he kind of wanted to, because he kind of raged out when he got into his car.
Oh, he definitely wanted to.
Yeah. But he, the good in him got the better of him, so he didn't punch him. But was that one scene at the end with Martin paying for the last ride? First of all, saying that he's blue, none of us bought that, right? Like he was claiming he was blue, and Simon was like, "No, you're not." Like the look on his face was like exactly what I was thinking. So, and then he tries to pay for the last ride. Was that supposed to be his redemption? Because fuck that. That didn't make me feel any different about Martin. Fuck that and fuck Martin, in my opinion. All right. What he did was really, really dangerous. He should have been like expelled for that at the very least. Okay. That's what I think.
I wonder if one of the points the author was trying to make is that like stereotypically nerdy people can be bullies. Like, it's not a big kid, he's not physically intimidating, but you're right, he does something incredibly dangerous for totally petty and spiteful reasons. And, I kept thinking throughout this movie that I'm kind of glad I went to high school before social media had really taken off, because good God, these kids are like reading secret personal details about themselves online where anybody can see it. And, they're like posting memes about each other. Some of them are pretty brutal. And I can't imagine what it's like to grow up as a teenager now, knowing you're basically living life under constant surveillance, a lot of which is self-imposed, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't really do anything because you worry about people recording you.
Yeah.
People scared to fight with just their hands. They bring in guns because they don't want to get embarrassed. Somebody recording the fight, see them get knocked out.
Jesus.
I mean, that even happens in the climax of the movie. Like, Leah has to stop that one girl from filming Simon on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Like, even that, which was supposed to be, I mean, I guess, Simon made it a public show by just the way he presented it, but like, it was supposed to be his intimate moment. People are there just gawking at him and getting ready to film him. And yeah, it was like the least private way to meet a potential love interest that I can think of.
What I will say about that, and I only know this because of YouTube comments, is that the ending of the movie was different from the book. In the book, it was kind of private. Like there wasn't like a whole crowd of people at the Ferris wheel watching it. It was just him riding it over and over again, waiting for Blue. So that part is different in the book, I think.
Yeah. I personally wasn't happy with the ending. I was happy that he had a happy ending, but at the same time, like there was a part of it that I was kind of mad at. Like, I don't know if I should discuss it yet or save it for the end.
All right, yeah, fine, that's fine. You could save it for later. I mean, the only part of the ending that really kind of pissed me off was just nothing happens to Martin. He just gets away with being the twerp that he is, Even when Simon was yelling at him in the parking lot, the look on Martin's face, brilliant acting, by the way. I'm just saying, the actor did a great job, but the character, the look on his face is like he's not even understanding why Simon is so angry. Like, yes, he's angry, but why are you this angry? It's not registering in Martin's head. So I just, oh my God. There's not enough words to describe my frustration with this character.
They should have did like a end scene credit or something.
Well, I mean, that could have been something. I mean, there is a sequel to this movie in the form of a show. I think it's called Love, Victor. Yeah. I think it's on Disney Plus, but or Hulu, I think. And I read another YouTube comment where in that scene, something that would have been a lot more brutal is if Simon looked Martin in the eye and said something like, "Your constant urge to blackmail people is the reason why nobody is ever going to date you, let alone be friends with you." And if he said that to Martin, that would have been really, really brutal.
And if Blue came up and punched him, like, no, I'm Blue.
Oh, at the ending? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd have been a good reveal.
Oh, man. So one other thing I wanted to say about Simon is he seems like he has the perfect family. Like they're all from California, right? So they seem pretty well off. They seem pretty wealthy. His parents are also very attractive. They don't seem that old for like having a teenage, like an adult teenage son and like a young daughter. They seem like they're in their 40s, like mid 40s, and they both look really attractive. And they both live in a nice house with like a white picket fence. I don't know if they actually had a white picket fence, but you guys know what I mean. They seem like the perfect family, right? And the movie opens up with Simon saying, "I'm just like you, normal everyday life." And I was watching that. I'm like, I don't know about that, man. I don't know if I can relate to being just like you, but maybe I'm not exactly who you mean. And then later we find out that that was actually a line from the email that he was sending to Blue saying, "I'm just like you." So I guess that kind of fits. So
yo,
Mom was in Catch Me If You Can, by the way.
Yo, the fucking principal. He's like, yo, man. Remember when I said remember when I said I see something like what exactly did he say?
I see something in me in you or something.
Yeah. Like he's like, I wasn't talking about, like that.
God.
Backtracking like a motherfucker.
He's using slang and trying to come off as this cool guy, and I think we've all had teachers like that who just try way too hard to connect with the kids. But I think in his own weird way, he did try to be supportive. Like he was wearing that pride flag the day after Simon was outed, like on his lapel. I think he was trying to, be supportive to Simon. He just, as usual, went a little overboard.
I think so too. I mean, the actor is kind of a comedian, I think. I don't know if you guys watch Arrested Development, but my cousin and his wife, when I was watching this with them, they're like, "Oh, that's him from Arrested Development, Buster." Yeah, okay. Buster from Arrested Development. If you guys are a fan of that show, so that's what he's most well known for, I think.
I've only seen clips. But yeah.
Because at one point I was like, yo, the principal is trying to be a comedian. But he seemed genuine. He was just awkward.
Oh man. Okay. So yeah, great casting. I think casting was great in this movie. So
yes, I didn't mean to interrupt Realms earlier, but I was just saying Simon's mom was in Catch Me If You Can, if you guys remember. Like she was the lady of the evening in that one scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was Mom.
I always forget she was in there because like that's not the first movie that I've seen her in. But I always forget she's in Catch Me If You Can.
I think the first movie I saw her in was like the Rocky and Bullwinkle movie.
Really?
Was she in that? Or it might have been a lookalike. Yeah, I'll look this up later.
Hilary Swank. That's the only other.
Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm thinking about somebody else.
Okay.
She was in Pearl Harbor though. There you go.
Okay. I always the first movie I seen her in was 13 Going on 30.
Oh yes. Yeah, I didn't see that whole movie, but I know that was her in that too. Yeah. So okay. So there are 2 or 3 big plot points, like the major plot points that I want to talk to you guys about that I feel like kind of ruined the movie a little bit. The first one, this one didn't ruin the movie. This was just like a comedy beat for it, which is in one of the emails that Simon is writing to Blue, which is about why is heterosexuality the default and gay not it. And then we see the montage of his friends who are all straight. Well, some of the montage, which is Abby and Nick coming out to their parents as being straight, but Leah tells them that she's in love with Nick. I didn't get that really. I didn't understand what that was about, because she was never really in love with Nick, and that's what I want to get to next. So number two. Well, actually, do you guys have thoughts on that? Like that?
I just thought it was funny watching like the hetero couples sitting next to each other, like being disappointed that their son or daughter is coming out hetero.
That's
Oh, yeah,
exactly
it-
what it was.
It was silly.
Yeah. Abby's mom, I think, had the funniest reaction. She's like cringing, yelling, like, "Oh Lord!"
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Okay, cool. So there was that.
Yeah.
There was also the whole Halloween party itself, which there was also a part there where, I mean, besides us seeing Bram making out with a girl and Simon walking in on them, which realms you picked up on, like that red herring. There was also the part with Martin puking on. It was funny how Nick thought he was Jesus, right? Like you just decided to dress up as fancy Jesus. I thought that was also funny. But then there was the part with Martin puking on him, which I thought was like, that was just done to make us hate Martin more, right? Like, why else would they have us include that? So
It's adding insult to injury. He's already blackmailing him. Now he's throwing up on him.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then we have that nice scene at the end where, by the way, I don't know how many like parents would allow their daughter to sleep over in like at their friend's house who's a boy, like, and in their room too. But I guess they've been doing this for so long that they have that trust, because that's what that was with Leah and Simon. But then they're in the bedroom and she's saying something really poetic and trying to hint at him that she loves him, but he either doesn't get it or his mind is kind of divided and like kind of somewhere else. He's also drunk a little bit too, right? So maybe that has something to do with it. And the parents, funny how the parents downstairs, they're like, so he's drunk. What are we going to do about this? And the mom is like, well, he's home before curfew and they didn't drive. So they're okay with it. I don't know if like the average parents would be okay with something like that, but I guess it's okay. Like if I was a parent, I don't know how I would feel about that.
Yeah.
I was
so what do I know?
I was nervous they were gonna say, at least he brought home a girl.
But they know Leah, like they've known her for a long time. So yeah. And the dad makes a lot of jokes like that, right? Like the dad makes a lot of like cringy dad jokes. So yeah, I mean we'll get to the parents' reaction in a bit, but like, okay, so number two big thing is the first person that Simon comes out to is Abby. You remember, like after the Waffle House scene, he pulls up his car to the curb and tells her that he's gay. Then he asks her if she's surprised, and she's like, no. Then he's like, so you knew? And she's like, no. And then he's like, but you're not surprised. So that was a nice scene. I thought that was a really nice scene, but part of me feels like the only reason they had that scene, or part of the only reason they had that scene, was to follow up with that scene at the homecoming game where she's like, oh, so we got to do this. We got to practice how you're going to check guys out. And she's like, you'll be like, that guy's fine. That football player's fine. I don't know if you guys remember that. But if that was the main reason they had that coming out scene, it took away from the heartfelt feeling of him coming out for the first time to anyone, right? But here's my main problem with this scene is that like he came out to her, and I think what he should have done after that was say to her, hey Abby, listen, Martin knows, and he's been blackmailing me to try to get you to be with him, and it's driving me crazy. I think he should have told her that, and then she would have helped him. She would have went straight to Martin and be like, delete those screenshots the fuck out of your phone and don't ever talk to us again. Leave us alone. I feel like she would have helped him. But Simon didn't do that. I feel like if he did that, then he would have been in the clear, because he decided to come out to her. It's one thing to come out to somebody, right? It's another thing to tell someone, that you're being blackmailed. It's one thing to tell your best friend that you're being blackmailed. I feel like he should have told her that, and she would have helped him. I think that was his biggest mistake. I'm not victim blaming. I'm not blaming him for being outed. That's all on Martin, but I'm saying he could have done this and things could have gone a different way. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe he was afraid that if he did that, Martin would out him anyway, just out of spite, and
Well,
he clearly wasn't ready to tell everybody or to have that information exposed.
I understand that, yeah, but he trusted Abby with his secret, and him being blackmailed was still killing him. And this kind of leads up to my next point, which is his friend's reaction after the break, right? From December to January, that holiday break, about when he's outed, the whole school finds out, then he sees his friends again. Nick and Abby are together, and they're mad at him. They are really mad at him for lying about a bunch of things to keep Nick and Abby apart. And Leah is also heartbroken that Simon was trying to set her up with Nick. They have a right to be upset, but not more upset than what he's going through. And I think most reviews, most people that I talk to about this, they are all kind of in agreement that his friends were going really overboard. I mean, Abby has been through some shit. She's had a hard past, and I'm not saying that she doesn't have a right to be upset. I'm just saying in this time, at this moment, she could be a little bit more understanding, because she was able to move past it. She was able to get with Nick. Like she and Nick talked and they became a couple. They were able to work that out. So I feel like they went a little bit overboard with what Simon was going through. They didn't even come to comfort him after that incident in the cafeteria. They still didn't come to ask him if he was okay. It wasn't until, when was it? Like after he made the Ferris wheel email, like to everyone, that like, hey, I'm gonna do this, Blue, if you want to come, I'll be on the Ferris wheel. And I guess they saw that email. I don't remember if that was before or after. And then they're like, hey, you want to go to the carnival together? And then they become friends again. So I think the friends went a little bit overboard. And JM, you were saying that like maybe he didn't tell Abby then because he wasn't ready to involve her in that or whatever. But look how hard that backfired. Honestly, if I was him, I would have told Abby there, and Abby would have helped him out with the whole Martin situation. That's something. Realms, what do you think? Like, do you think things could have gone differently, or do you think it would have not worked, or would have been the same?
Depends on how they wrote it, I guess. How they went about it. Like, I feel like even with her help, he still could have ended up being outed, but at least at that point, she'd be more understanding, and he probably wouldn't have lost his friends in the process.
Yeah, but I mean, either way though, I still think his friends were being a little bit harsh. Or do you guys disagree?
No. They were
kind of. Oh, go ahead.
I feel like for everything that happened, they have a right to be upset and a right to need a little bit of time, a little bit of space, but communicate that. Like, the way it kind of came off, it felt more like a I don't want to be your friend ever again type deal. But after seeing the whole situation, I felt like, me personally, I've been like, yo, like, I understand why you did what you did. It was still pretty fucked up though. So I'm gonna need some time.
I mean, yeah, like Abby said, she trusted him, and he not only manipulated her, but he kind of treated her like a bit of a commodity. I know he was in a tough spot and he didn't have much of a choice, but like at the end of the day, he's trying to set up one of his friends with a person he knows to be shitty. And at the same time, he's lying to a genuinely good guy who likes her. And then he lies to his own best friend to cover those tracks even further. Like, yeah, they all probably felt really manipulated. And I think that made the third act all the more tense, because it wasn't just about him coming out as gay. It was also about him owning up to the fact that yeah, he was trying to play puppet master and pull all these strings he shouldn't have been pulling on and manipulating the people he cared about the most. He did some profoundly shitty things. Maybe he didn't have a choice, but yeah, you don't do that to your friends, man.
Abby even says, you made up a bunch of lies. I'm not a piece of meat to be thrown around like that. That's all the more reason, honestly, why I feel like he should have just put a stop to it when he could have, when he came out to her. Because that was obviously stressing him out so much. So I guess I'm in agreement with both of you guys on this. I just feel like he should have told her. He should have told her about the blackmailing. If anyone could have stopped Martin, it would have been Abby herself, like the one he was crushing on so hard.
Yeah,
She could have stopped, and she's the one he came out to. So
yeah.
the line that Leah said, I felt like it was so harsh. It felt like it didn't even fit in the script about like how you set me up to get my heart broken and that just makes you cruel. When she said that, I'm like, not only is that harsh, but the word cruel sounds like it doesn't even belong in the script of this movie. That's how off it felt. That was how it felt for me, honestly. So
I was glad that she was at least able to forgive him a lot easier than the others, because with her situation, he genuinely thought that she liked Nick. So that was kind of like more of a wingman situation than trying to set you up for failure.
maybe. I don't know how much he actually believed that, or he was just pulling from what he knew and tried to like convince himself that maybe this is right and he's doing the right thing.
I mean, the way they shot the film, it gave a reason to believe that it was Nick, because when they were showing off, when they first showed up with their Halloween costumes, and Nick was showing attention to Abby, they showed Leah with a disappointed look that he was showing attention to Abby for some reason, and Simon saw that. So there was a logical reason for him to think that she was talking about him.
Okay, yeah, maybe I didn't pick up on that, but I would watch this movie again so many times given the opportunity. So
I mean, in reality, what that moment probably was she saw Nick showing Abby attention, and she was wishing that Simon would show her that attention.
yes, that's what it was. Yeah, okay, then that makes sense too. Okay, so
Yeah.
well, speaking of all this, the only other issue I guess I would have is just the ages of the actors. Like I've complained to you guys about this in the past, how Hollywood always thinks that young adults will look like teenagers. I mean, they're playing 18-year-olds because they're all senior year. So I guess it's a little bit more okay, but it's not exactly the same. But I like the relationship between him and his little sister. She was the first one to come to him, like when he was in his room and the secret went out. Like she was also on social media. She's like 12. What are 12-year-olds doing on social media? But anyway, she comes to him saying that she reported it, they're gonna take it down, and she kind of yells at him, but they make up later, right? Because the next day is like Christmas, right? Or Christmas, like he's like open up your present, and it's like this cooking thing. I don't remember what it was, like
Cuisinart. Yeah,
yeah.
Cuisinart.
That was nice.
Yeah.
His mom was always really supportive. That was that one nice thing where that one nice scene where he asks her, "Did you know?" And she said, "It looked like you were always holding your breath. I knew you were hiding something." That was nice. I love that as well. She walks away after that scene. That's the only thing. I feel like she should have stayed in the room with him. Where was she going? She was already in the living room. I don't understand why she had to leave the room. Then there was a scene with the father, and
Yes.
Yeah.
they wrote the father a certain way because like in the beginning of the movie, like when Simon was either talking to Blue or talking to the audience about how his father is not the most macho guy, if he ever told his parents that he was gay, like his father's not the most macho dude, so it's not like he would be that hateful about it. But he's always throwing in these dad jokes, not just dad jokes, but like sexual dad jokes. Remember in the beginning of the movie where Simon is checking out the landscape guy from across the street, and his dad opens the door and he zooms back to his computer and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were masturbating or something like that," right? Then on Christmas Day, when Simon comes out to his family, his dad is like, "Oh, which girlfriend turned you? Which one of your girlfriends turned?" And then before he comes out, he's like, "Oh, let me guess, you made her go pregnant." Like these are like sexual ass dad jokes. Like, do dads actually joke like that? Oh man.
Some do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not my dad per se, but I I didn't do a lot of dating in high school, and I remember occasionally dad would make jokes about that, or whenever he saw me in the vicinity of a girl, he'd like hint like, "So did you get her number?" or something like that. So yeah, that was believable to me that a dad with his
Yeah.
personality would make jokes like that, you know?
Okay, okay. I didn't hate it. I just thought it was like this dude is kind of like forcing these jokes to make sure, like, hey, my son's not gay, my son's not gay, right? And then like,
Yeah.
your son is gay. So
He showed remorse though, like,
yeah,
he was choking up about the fact that he made all these jokes, which in hindsight were inappropriate around
yeah,
his son. And he clearly regretted that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they had a good
Yeah, I
talk.
was.
He wanted to get on Grinder. He's like, "That's Dad. That's not what Grinder. Do you know what Grinder is? That's not what that is."
I'm glad they got that moment because
Yeah.
when he made that joke after he came out, like you could tell he wasn't trying to be an ass. He's just that was the only way he knew how to communicate and try to lighten up the moment at the time. So yeah.
For
Some,
sure, for sure.
some people fight stress with humor, and that can be a good strategy, but sometimes it's not really appropriate. You know?
But how the rest of the family reacted, oh my God. And then the daughter was like, yo, shut up. Like,
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
by the way, this is like the best little sister in movie history. Like, oh
yeah.
my
Oh my.
gosh,
Hell
this was
yeah.
a
Tell him
great little
dad to
sister
shut up.
character.
Shut
I guess if I had another complaint with the movie, it would be like not making the family more important, like more scenes with the family, like more with his sister, because she's an awesome little sister, Like I guess that would just be another complaint I would have. Because I did like all of the family scenes, The video that he was making with his dad, that was kind of cringy to me too, but like he wanted to do it. His dad was into it, so he helped him with it. So yeah.
These home movies that are clearly produced by professionals when you look at the footage, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Simon was making fun of him in the beginning, saying like, "Looks like a painfully average fourth grader made this," and that's he made a joke about Bill Cosby after that. He's like, the music he was listening to was like, "Oh, this band was great in my age," and Simon was like, "Yeah, so was Bill Cosby." So yeah. Anywho, so I think I've wrapped up my thoughts on this movie overall. Do you guys have like anything else you want to say before we go into straight into ratings with this?
I do have a favorite part and a least favorite part,
Hmm.
which is what I was talking about earlier when I was like, I don't know if I should say it now or say it later.
Oh yeah, say it. I want to know.
Hmm.
I will. Well, I'll start with my favorite part first, and then I'll say that one. So my favorite part was it's like a really small part. It just made me laugh though when he's talking to Leah and he's apologizing to her, and he says, "You're my best friend." And she says, "Really? Because you told Abby first." And then he says, "Well, I only knew her for 6 months. I've known you for 13 years." And then for me, being who I am, I'm like, that's 13 reasons why you should have told her.
Oh
now,
wow!
now,
Perfect.
now I'm pausing the movie, running into the living room to tell my girl about the joke.
That might have been an Easter egg for all we know.
Yeah, maybe a little
Maybe,
homage there.
maybe. I mean, you can't tell me like every time somebody says reasons around her, like you don't think about the show.
Every time she was on the screen, I was thinking of Hannah Baker.
And then my least favorite thing about the movie was when he's outed and he's talking to Blue, and Blue is, pretty much backing up, like, no, I can't be a part of this. Then when everything is all good, now Blue wants to reveal himself. I didn't like that. Like he couldn't be there for him when everything was in the gutter, in the shitter. But now after everything's all good, now he's able to reveal himself. Not to say he necessarily did it because everything was all good, but it was just it's kind of convenient though. Like
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think too much about that too. I was only thinking that like, since Blue's email address was exposed, he had to delete the email. Remember, and they focused like, this email address has been deleted permanently, like focused on it. And then they had the non-audio scene of Simon like flipping out, right? So
Yeah, but I mean, he said he knew who he was, so he could have came out to him at any time.
yeah, yeah.
Granted, the whole school saw that incident with like the two bullies in the cafeteria. So, yeah, if I was Blue, I'd be having some reservations too, at that point, knowing that there are kids like those two pricks out there. It's not a very, not maybe the most honorable thing to do, but I could see why Blue was scared.
I mean, they could have kept it a secret. Like they
Yeah.
kept their thing a secret.
No, you're right. You're right. Blue definitely could have. He could have been there for Simon. He said he was in love with him, right? That's something that I wonder too. Is it possible to fall in love with someone just through like pen pal emails? Maybe it is. I don't know. This is
I
high school.
mean,
High school.
I know somebody who married a girl that he got to know through like online gaming. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, stuff like this can happen.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible
Okay.
because it forces you to essentially build like a connection of learning the different things about this person. And sometimes like when you're actually in person, sometimes you're like doing something, like you're watching a movie or you're going out to bowling, and it forces you to basically develop a connection if you're all you can do is talk to each other, send pictures, you know what I'm saying?
You're right. You're right. It is. I was just curious because I feel like not everybody you talk to will say that it's possible. Some people will say like it's ridiculous. Of course, it's not possible. So I'm glad that you guys are in agreement that it is.
Yeah.
It depends. I know like a lot of people, they don't have like the patience to even develop it online, especially if the person is within range to meet up. But like sometimes people are stuck in a situation where it's like long distance. Like I randomly met this person, not me, but like scenario, like you randomly met this person, and you're in Florida and they're in, I don't know, New York. Again, this is not about me, but like you have no choice, like sometimes, but to talk for a long time until you can get to the point where you can hang out, and the emotions get deep, and the anticipation builds up, and yeah, infatuation, all that stuff. It makes it possible.
You're exactly right, and I can attest to that out of experience. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Great. Fantastic,
Yeah.
guys. You gentlemen are good with closing statements. Let's just go ahead and go into ratings.
Okay.
Now, we've reviewed over 30 movies and TV shows at this point on this podcast. And sometimes when I rate higher than what I think how good the movie is. It's about how much I liked it. And that's what I'm going to do here because again, this podcast's premiere episode was Avengers Endgame, and I gave that a perfect score, even though that movie is also not perfect. But it's more about like how good the movie is. It's about how it makes you feel. It's about what the movie is to you. And with that being said, I'm gonna give this movie a 10 out of 10. I love it.
There we go. Perfect score.
Woo!
Yes.
Woo!
I love this movie. I think the good in it is strongly outweighs the bad. I would love to watch it over and over again because it's a feel-good movie. It's got that happy ending. It's got very good acting. It's got a good story. It's got comedic beats, but it's got a lot of drama, drama that a lot of people can relate to, whether you're gay or not. Like anybody who is like has a connection with someone and is pining for them but still just can't have that person, I feel like you can relate to Simon on that level too, even though this movie is about coming out and coming of age. I'm just saying it deserves a 10 out of 10 for me. So yeah, that's what you got.
Well, I was going to give this a 9 out of 10, actually. Very good movie. Yeah, just feel good movie. I know it made history as the first gay teen rom-com released by a major studio. And, I'd read some reactions from various authors within the LGBT community about this movie. And the reviews do seem to be a bit mixed. I'm not going to speak for anybody else's community, but personally, I really liked this movie. The only reason I didn't give it a 10 was because if you have vicarious movie embarrassment, you're going to want to hold on to something. Just like
Oh,
hold on to your seat, man. But no, good movie. Definitely check it out.
so Realms, before we get to your score, I just want to say, like JM, I was asking you off the record, and I'm asking both of you on the record right now. Is this a family-friendly movie?
I'd say so, personally. I mean, maybe not if you
Depends
have
on your
really
family.
little kids in the room, but that's only because they do use the F bomb and a couple of other like that, and they talk about masturbating. But if you've got like older kids, then yeah, it's a family movie.
It depends on your family, but I'd say most families should be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair answers from both of y'all.
He did drop that F bomb
They
at the
did,
right
one,
time.
but
But he didn't punch him, but he was like, "Get the fuck away from me!"
Right.
Yeah.
But that all the more reason that was a very effective F bomb. Like I felt
Yeah.
that. I felt that.
Yeah.
It was a very effective use of the one PG-13 F bomb.
One, right?
There's an art and science to the PG-13 F bomb.
Oh man. Well, would you guys be surprised to learn that the reason this is not on Disney Plus is because Disney doesn't think that this movie is family friendly?
Really?
Yeah.
Because of that one F bomb.
Also, Disney just has a problem with LGBT representation. Like, how many times has Disney said, "Oh, this is going to be our first openly gay character," and then it just turns into a shit show, like LeFou in the Beauty and the Beast remake. Like, he's out for maybe one scene. Like, come on, guys, y'all have hangups.
Oh man, yeah. But that is the reason why the three of us had to rent it on YouTube instead of just stream it on Disney Plus, because Disney
I didn't.
bought Fox way back when. So
Oh yeah, that's right. I guess it is a Disney movie now. Yeah.
yeah. I think Love Victor, which is the follow-up, I think that's on Disney Plus. And if it's not, I think it's on Hulu. If it's not on either of those, then I don't know where it's at.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Gotcha.
Anyway, without further ado, Realms.
Oh, I will slap this bad boy with a 9.
Yes!
wanted to say 10, but just I couldn't do it because the shit that I was talking about, like for them to write Blue showing up after everything's all good, I didn't like that. And yeah. That's about it though. Everything else was good. Like I enjoyed seeing the different people in the cast, that I recognized from other places, and
Same.
I love the message of the movie. Yeah, I think 9 is solid.
Okay, well, needless to say, we all rated this high, right? Perfect 10, 9, 9. This is
Yeah.
another case of Catch Me If You Can, if you think about it. Like we're all thinking highly of this movie. All right.
It means I gotta pick a bad movie so that we don't.
Oh yeah, dude, do it.
Do it. Pattern here.
Oh, that's gonna be funny.
I don't know if this is like
Pick
bad, like bad as in like shitty. Because this is one I love this movie, but it is bad as in it's a gangster movie.
Okay.
Like that segue.
I'm intrigued.
All right, so the movie is called Blue Hill Avenue, and I haven't watched it in a long time, but if memory serves me correctly, what was it? I'm not even going to embarrass myself and guess. It's been a long time since I watched the movie, but there's one character on it. The actor, I've seen him in different roles, like in Fresh Prince. He came in as a basketball rival. And he's also been on, is it the new CW? They had a show called The House of Pain. He played CJ. I forget the actor's name. But essentially, it's a group of guys that get together. They start doing gangster stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know how to describe it too much better than that. I forget what the motives are, but I love it. I hope y'all enjoy it. You can watch it on YouTube. It's gonna be, you don't have to rent it. And then yeah, by the time we do the next podcast, I should be able to re-describe the plot better.
Blue Hill Avenue, yeah?
Blue Hill Avenue.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys. This is why I love doing podcasts with you guys. Okay. So I appreciate you guys very, very much, for having different opinions, but still, sometimes we come together very closely too. So, this is why, this is why we are the improvising team of movie guys, right? All right.
Wild and crazy guys.
Oh man. Well, that concludes this episode of MGI, the Halloween episode, technically, because it's October. You've been listening to the voices of
Chill with Realms.
Jurassic Mark
Targaryen. Catch us again on the November / I guess Thanksgiving episode, Blue Hill Avenue, next month. See you then.
Yes, sir. We out, we out, we out.
Anybody want some Oreos?
Ooh, clutch.
I was craving those damn orange Oreos. So, like, might go over to the corner store after this.